Hey, everybody, welcome to Matmen, your source for all things professional wrestling. I'm Andrew Zarian, and of course, with me as always, the thirstiest of all the boys,
So thirsty.
Rich Stambolian.
What's up, baby? Bang, bang.
Dude, you lost your mind last week on the show. What happened?
I was so thirsty, dude. Like, I don't know what came over me. I just could not get enough liquid into my body.
Dude, you just, you had all the liquids going on.
All the liquids. It was a mess. I got some on my shirt. At one point, I was just like, man, I hope I never do that again.
I didn't feel well last week, I got to tell you. So if you guys noticed, I looked a little different. I was a little under the weather. I think it was due to my shot. I think it was a side effect of the vaccine.
I've never,
I looked a little
worn
off.
the glasses before.
I've never had to know because I couldn't put my contact lenses in. That's what happened. So last week's show was a lot of fun. This week we have 7 shows. It's WrestleMania week, obviously, here on Matmen. Everybody in the pro wrestling community is doing a bunch of shows. A bunch of stuff is happening. And it's a very surreal year. Once again, 2 years in a row for WrestleMania, where we really don't have the full effect of a WrestleMania week and the party environment and the big event environment that comes along with WrestleMania. I'm curious to see how this plays out this week, but there's so much to talk about. I know, Rich, we're going to be on every single day this week, essentially, right?
Yeah. And you know what? I'm going to pat ourselves on the back, because if we didn't love you guys and if we didn't love watching wrestling, guess what? We wouldn't be doing 7 shows this week. And not only are we doing 7 shows, we are doing 1, 2, 3, 4 watch-alongs, right?
We're doing 4 so there's a watch along tonight. The Matt Boys, MG Geek and Jonathan Risk, are doing the Matt Boys special, where they're doing a watch along of WrestleMania 17 at 3:30 p.m. East. You can catch it here live on our YouTube channel. Of course, everywhere else you watch us, it'll be posted there. Tomorrow on the F4W YouTube channel, on the Wrestling Observer YouTube channel, we're going to be live with night 1 of NXT Takeover. We're going to do Thursday morning. We have a regular Matmen where we kind of summarize everything that happened night 1, also AEW and everything else going on. Then we're coming back Thursday night with another watch along for NXT Takeover night 2. Mm-hmm. Friday morning, we will have a Matmen, a WrestleMania preview episode, and also summarizing what happened with NXT. That's going to go live on Friday. Friday morning, that drops. Saturday night, watch along. Saturday night, review episode coming out for early Sunday morning. Sunday morning, that early episode comes out. Bam, another watch along, and early Monday morning, a review of WrestleMania weekend. So,
good Lord,
holy moly, we got a busy schedule here. We got a quick show today because I'm going to work today.
You're late right now.
I'm very late. So I'm gonna probably get in there like 1 o'clock. So I have to get out of here at 12 so I could catch the 12:18 train. So let's start off with you know what? You pick, Rich.
You know what? We can knock this out, I think, within the hour if we talk real fast like that.
All right, let's call it. Yeah, that's it.
Well, so let's start with the New Japan news, because I find this very fascinating. Will Ospreay won the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship from Kota Ibushi at Sakura Genesis. He's going to defend the title against Shingo at Wrestling Dontaku. The winner faces Kazuchika Okada at Wrestle Grand Slam on May 29th.
In the Tokyo Dome.
In the Tokyo Dome. Not only that, but Ospreay challenged CM Punk to take his title also. Good for him. And let me tell you something, Andrew, something.
You tell me.
We completely poo-pooed on that IWGP, that new belt, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you right now, that belt, I'm not taking back what I said. That belt looked terrible on Ibushi. It seemed like he was not feeling it, right?
Yeah.
They put that belt on Ospreay. Aesthetically, it looks a million times better.
It does look better.
On him, it looks great with the Rev Pro belt also. It looks awesome. Like they were showing the photo shoot yesterday. Really interesting move from New Japan, man, to throw the title on Ospreay. I think he deserves it after the work he's put in the last year.
Yeah, I mean, listen, they're obviously in a weird bubble right now with restructuring and the way that they're booking. And by the way, also their attendance is not doing well for these shows.
Really,
they're not doing too great in attendance. I feel like they've hit a bizarre lull for New Japan. It's not that the shows are bad. I I think there's too many moving parts, and that'll also go into our conversation about Raw and everything else that's happening. I do think putting the title on Ospreay, as far as the aesthetic goes, I'm fine with that. I think it kind of came out of nowhere, and this is that new. They're flip flopping these titles, and it's rare for New Japan to do this.
Absolutely.
We saw the title drop to Evil. We saw that whole thing play out last year around the same time. So they're kind of sticking to the same schedule here, where I believe Evil had the title around the same time period last year. Right?
I want to say yes, but I feel
right
like
before the pandemic.
We've been flubbing that. I think it was during the pandemic that Evil got the title.
Somebody could send that in the chat. I can't remember, dude. I cannot remember last year at all. Everything is blended in. But I think for Ospreay, dude, this was a. I feel like if this was any other moment, right? If this was 3 months from now or 6 months from now, it would be a very different conversation happening. That Will Ospreay got the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. He is their guy. They're very committed to him. He had many opportunities to leave New Japan. He decided not to. He was very loyal to New Japan, and now we know why. I mean, they have big plans for him, and I think he's a tremendous talent. The guy is really good. He's gotten way better on the mic. He's put on a bunch of size, and they had a hell of a 5-star match. It was really, really impressive, the match.
Oh, absolutely. And Ospreay had his troubles in the last year and a half, and you're right. Like, New Japan was in the guy's corner, and this was his kind of like reward for putting the work in. Plus, him being in Chaos and getting the rub from Okada, you can only go up from that, right? So he capitalized on that. We were discussing in our little group chat yesterday how I think they're gonna buff the stats on this new belt because they're considering Kota Ibushi the first champion of the unified title.
Interesting. Okay.
So I think it's gonna go Ibushi, Ospreay, Shingo, somebody else, Okada.
You think Shingo's getting the title?
I think Shingo's getting the title at some point during the year, but for a limited run, right? Shingo deserves it too. He's one of those guys for the last couple of years that's been like on fire. I have a weird feeling Mox is going to end up with that belt at some point.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're absolutely right. By the way, talking about other titles, there's another title that they unveiled. There's a new Never Open Championship title, right? They fixed that. They changed that. They updated that. And they have the New Japan Strong title that seems to have taken the place of the Intercontinental title since there's no more IC title for them. Whatever. I guess you need a title on that TV show for New Japan Strong. I don't know what the end goal for that show is, but we'll see what happens with that. Interestingly enough, the comparison, and John in our chat room, John Gorman, brought up an interesting fact. He goes, it's sad that for all the people that wanted to see Ospreay in WWE, he probably would be where Ricochet is right now. Ospreay would probably be on 205 Live, and he'd be the Cruiserweight champion. I mean, that's really, once you're put in a box, it's very difficult to get out. I think he made the right move, I think, for Ospreay by staying in Japan. Evil won at Dominion last year in July. Just shows you how this entire year has blended in our minds.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I it was fine. It was a great match. I'm curious what's going to happen with Ibushi, because I honestly envisioned him to have this title for a very long time.
Well, I think this takes Ibushi into an interesting realm, and as wrestling fans, we love to speculate on this kind of stuff. So who knows? Maybe Ibushi losing the title leaves him free to travel to the States, to go to AEW, to go to Impact, to do like this weird tour. And listen, like, the quote unquote forbidden door is slowly getting kicked open, right? I hate using that term, by the way.
I hate it too. It's
slowly getting kicked open by all this stuff. So who knows where he's going to end up? Plus, you can have a lengthy feud in this year with Ospreay and Okada again. Because there was the whole betrayal. They have such chemistry together. Like, their matches have always been amazing. So Okada at some point gets that belt again. You have like your top tier New Japan guys. Moxley's challenging Yuji Nagata for the IWGP.
Dude, come on,
the US title match.
That has to be just like on his bucket list, right? It's one of those.
Dude.
It has to be.
Absolutely. That promo was awesome too. Like the promo that Moxley cut on Nagata was great. I think they're going to have a hard-hitting 15-minute match. Moxley is almost like an attraction for New Japan at this point.
Yeah.
You know, like cool promo, 15-minute match, and then see you later, bye. You know, when the world opens up again, throw this guy back into the G1.
Terry Funk.
Yeah.
He's doing it's the Funk mentality, you know. Go from territory to territory, have a strong dominance in Japan, and go whenever you feel like it.
Have him win the G1 at some point.
That would be a very large commitment for him to do. Very large. So talking about the Forbidden Door, let's talk about Chris Jericho. That dropped out of nowhere. Chris Jericho is going to be appearing on the Broken Skull Sessions podcast with Steve Austin. The episode premieres right after night 2 of WrestleMania. So if they're just going to go right into it on Peacock, this is a tremendous thing. A lot of people are shocked that this is happening. I'm really not.
They're buddies.
First of all, they've known each other for 20 some odd years. They've worked together for all these years. Chris Jericho, if it was Kenny Omega doing it, I would be more into the realm of, oh my God, that's actually very strange to see Kenny Omega on a WWE-sided product doing some sort of interview. But the fact that this is a Steve Austin podcast and Chris Jericho is going on there, it just shows you, you know, a lot of these walls that are put up are all imaginary from the fans. There is no war. Nobody in WWE is not looking at AEW and saying, well, I want these guys to go under, especially the boys and the women in the company, because guess what? It's another opportunity for you to make money when you run your course in that territory. So none of these guys, it's not the WCW thing. The WCW thing was very different. And even then, it was all a work. These guys did not want to kill the other company.
Yeah, I think the only real, you know, like my perception is the only real difference in terms of like that war was the locker rooms, right? Where like when a WCW guy would show up in a WWE locker room, that was really where like the war was, right? Where it was like, well, you guys do things differently over there. This is how we do things.
Yeah.
It wasn't like an outright, you know, we're going to hunt these guys down kind of thing. It was a ratings war, and that was it. This non-existent war between WWE and AEW is what it is. It's non-existent. Having Jericho on the Austin podcast is fantastic. You said Kenny Omega before.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it this morning. I feel like I would have flipped out more if it was the Bucks instead of Kenny.
That'd be tremendous. Like, yeah, that'd be big too. That'd be really big also. Yeah.
Because those are the two guys that quote unquote killed the business, right?
Yeah. I think it's very interesting. So you're going to get that night 2 right after WrestleMania on Sunday night. The Hall of Fame, which airs tonight, is already pre-taped, obviously. If you were sitting on social media, you saw everybody from WWE posting. This is a really big induction.
I'm excited.
So you got the NWO, you got the Bellas, you got the British Bulldog, Liger, which nobody is talking about, which is
so good,
so weird. JBL, Eric Bischoff, Kane, RVD, Molly Holly, Khali, Titus O'Neil with the Warrior Award, which we should kind of talk about because I thought it would go to somebody else. William Shatner in the Celebrity Wing and Ozzy Osbourne in the Celebrity Wing.
So good.
So I'm gonna watch it. I really.
Oh yeah.
I whatever. You know, it is what it is.
Dude, I love the Hall of Fame. The Hall of Fame's. I love watching the Hall of Fame. I love the speeches.
It does nothing for me, dude.
Really?
Yeah, it never does anything for me.
You know, like it's gonna be so. I'm so interested to see if, like, for example, like the NWO induction. You know, like how many times are they gonna reference like the third man and this and that? And I just want to hear them all. Yeah, I want to see the AO. Whatever Kevin Nash does, I want to hear like a brother, you know, like when the world opens up, one more run, brother.
He's been saying that, by the way. Have you seen that? He's teasing it again. Hulk Hogan at the age of 67 years old is teasing one more match. He's talking about it. He's getting very excited for one more match. And he was doing this thing. Brother. He was doing this thing. Did you see that? I'm like, come on. You know what? I think 5 years ago, we could have had that discussion. If his back was like normal, because you know he's been trying to come back. It's not it's. I'll explain this to everybody. It's not like he keeps teasing it like out of nowhere, and he has no intention of coming back. He genuinely attempts to get back into ring shape every year or two. And the dude, his body is banged up. He's had like 8,000 back surgeries. He's 60-something years old. He doesn't need to do anything. You know what? I would love to see a cinematic Hulk Hogan match. That I will 100%. Take.
Oh, brother, punch.
Oh, and then it just ends with the leg and like they insert an explosion, like a mushroom cloud.
yeah. When he drops the leg, yeah,
like Area 51 style,
aliens, and it just goes down to the center of the earth, man, where all the mole men are.
I think Hogan is. The thing about Hogan that I find so fascinating is that he's still a fan of pro wrestling. And whenever you hear him or read interviews with him, he talks about like the current product, and I find that very endearing about the guy. So, there could be the seed planted where he's like, well, Stinger's match was great. Hey, Vince, take a look at this. Let's do something like this, brother. And then he'll go from like, it'll be like a career retrospective cinematic match where he starts in the red and yellow, goes to the black and white, back to the red and yellow, tag teams with John Cena. That's the way to do it.
That is the way to do it. SmackDown highlights. We're gonna go right through this, guys. Logan Paul appeared. He will be Sammy's guest at WrestleMania. All right. I guess another celebrity endorsement. This is obviously to get that younger vote,
sure,
that younger audience, the YouTube generation with Logan Paul. Daniel Bryan closes SmackDown by laying out both Reigns and Edge. I thought that was really cool. This week's SmackDown billed as WrestleMania's. It's going to be a WrestleMania edition. He wrote edition.
There we go. He's fixing it. I
fixed it in the notes. Yeah, because he actually publishes these notes. Andre the Giant Battle Royal also on this week's Fatal 4-Way for the SmackDown titles. And also we will preview the Mania review show Thursday.
Let me ask you, do you think they should have called it the Andrade Battle Royal?
The Andrade Battle Royal? Yeah, dude, I got some news on that, which I'm going to save till Thursday.
Oh, look at that. Spoiler alert.
Yeah. I have some news that I'm saving.
Also, would you fight Logan Paul?
I would fight him.
Yeah?
Yeah. I'm a good fighter. I fight all the time.
I want you to fight somebody.
Dude, I almost fought someone last week. I'm not even kidding.
Street. I mean,
no, like on the street. No, like on the street. I almost fought somebody last week. I don't want to go into it.
Oh, boy.
I lost my mind.
Man or a woman?
A man.
It was a lady,
I'm not threatening to beat up women. Sometimes. It was a child. It was a 5-year-old boy. Let's talk about last night's Monday Night Raw. Holy moly. Can I tell you what a terrible show. Oof. Oh. I actually groaned out loud. When I came home, I got home at like 7:50, turned it on. I was in my kitchen, so I had my little like Google Hub, so I was watching it on that. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so terrible. The writing is terrible. It's become, I'm telling you, it is a bad variety show now. That is what the show has become. It is. I really want to know, and I'm serious. I'm not saying this to as a smarky comment. Who's enjoying this?
I think there are a lot of people enjoying it, to be honest.
Do you really think that? Do you think do you think people watched this show and said, this was the best? This was awesome.
It's possible that you and I are aged out of enjoying Raw
anything?
For the most part.
I mean,
I don't know about anything. I enjoy a lot of stuff, but I think we're aged out in terms of like Raw. Like Raw to me, there's so many LEDs and bright colors. It looks like an ad for like a casino game, where
that's really funny.
It looks so bizarre, like when you look at it with the 8K camera and everything. And listen, it's not a knock on the talent or the production. The production is stellar. The talent is awesome. Everybody looks amazing. But what you and I want, we'll never get again. We want Eddie Guerrero versus Chris Benoit.
That's never happening.
The shit out of each other, right?
Yeah.
Or something cool and better.
But you know what though?
Go ahead. Yeah.
Let me just say this, right? Like I'm fine with the lighting. I'm fine with the setup. Like it's I get it. It's modern. It works. I think aesthetically they're in the driver's seat now when you talk about pro wrestling on television because their product looks way better than everybody else. They They were very slow to implement stuff, but when they do implement it, they do it the right way. That's not my problem. The problem is it's just going through the freaking motions. And I honestly, my expectations for this show were maybe a little too high considering it's a WrestleMania go-home show for Raw.
Correct.
You're trying, and this show's purpose is, and by the way, on paper, they did everything the right way, right? I'm going to tell you why.
Yeah.
On paper, the goal of this show is to sell you the pay-per-view on Peacock. That is the goal. The goal of the go-home show is not to put on the best matches that you're going to see. It is to peak the level of interest into WrestleMania. You know what they did instead of doing it with captivating storytelling and in-ring storytelling? They literally just did an infomercial for Peacock for 3.5 hours.
That is true. That is, but you know what?
Before and after the show.
That also harkens back to like when they were getting people to subscribe for the network. You know, like those Raws would become like the shill for the network. You know, listen, they got to make money, etc. I just feel like there's a lot of stuff. Yeah, of course, you get it. You know, I think that's the thing. Like we're very understanding about why they do what they do, but I'd like a little more than Braun coming out and going, "This one's for everybody who's ever been called stupid." You know?
Oh my god! Oh my god! Let me just start with this ridiculousness, right? Braun Strowman, he beat Elias and Riker. Okay.
Can I interject really quick?
Yeah.
That fight between Braun Strowman, Elias, and Riker, I feel happens every hour at any random Florida gas station.
Yeah, that's Florida, man. There's nothing. They've been sucking in the Florida vapors for too long. I think that's the problem right now. By the way, fan of Florida. Not actually. I hate Florida. Let me just say.
I know you hate Florida.
I hate Florida. I tried to be nice. I don't like Florida. I don't like you. Like Florida. I don't like Florida.
I do.
Braun Strowman. So he beats them. This fucking storyline with Shane McMahon. Shane looks like a confused turtle. He doesn't know where he is. And he's just calling Braun. This guy, Braun Strowman, will never get over again. If he does, I will eat my shoe.
Don't say that.
Add that to
he's
the
going to
list.
get over again, and you're not.
I hope he does. I hope I have to eat my shoe. They ruined this guy, top to bottom. Here was the issue with Braun. Braun got over with the kids. Okay, tremendously.
Yes. Yeah.
Tremendously got over with kids. Same thing with Big Show. I never was a Big Show fan, but freaking kids love the Big Show. You know who loves the Big Show? My daughter.
Okay.
My daughter sits there and watches his Netflix show constantly. She loves the show. I have no idea why. I don't know. I don't find anything appealing about it. It's not a bad show. It's not a good show. It's just a sitcom. But she's very into the Big Show because he's gigantic. He's a giant. Same thing with Braun Strowman. He's this cartoon of a character. Once again, we're talking about cartoon characters getting over in wrestling, right? So he comes out there. He really is stupid. I really think he's dumb. Now I believe Shane. Shane's not the heel. This guy's an idiot. He's an idiot from day one. He can't do anything right.
Oh boy.
They've written the worst character for this guy. I could not believe how terrible they portrayed him last night. And I'm like, and I've been holding up. I've had hope. I'm like, you know what? This is gonna get some. It's gonna get to something. It's gonna get good. He's gonna get redemption. He's gonna maybe lose it and just start murdering everybody. No,
I'm not stupid.
All right, fine, dude. You're not stupid. I get it. It's okay.
That's not. You know what? That's a perfect example of that not being for us, right?
I don't think it's for anybody, dude, at this point.
Well, I get it because it's for the kids who get bullied. It could possibly be for the adults too who get bullied, you know, like those really like the fans that are like really, really absorbed into fandom, you know, like where they would walk into a store and somebody would be like, oof, look at this dummy over here. And they'd hear it, you know, and in their head, they're just kind of like a little powerless to say, you know, like, don't call me stupid. I get it. I get it. I get it. It's like the anti-bullying thing. That's fine. But to have like
Shane McMahon be the bully,
Shane McMahon be the bully,
the sweetest boy ever, you know,
which would make sense, honestly, if he brought back the Mean Street Posse to make fun of Braun. That would be tremendous,
dude.
Right?
I gotta tell you, Shane McMahon is the nicest human being on the face of the planet, right? out of all the McMahons, you take the nicest, sweetest one, and you make him the bully. I mean, it's so. And the thing about Shane is that he's a soft talker now. He's like a low talker.
Yeah.
So he comes off, and he's like, yeah, but Braun, you're really an idiot. You're really stupid. You're just really dumb. And I'm like, oh my God, like he's being really mean to him. But I'm like, yeah, you know what? I agree with Shane. He is an idiot. He is stupid. Bully him. I want him to get bullied.
Okay.
I've hit that level. Yeah.
I have a question for you. Do you think this is and I think I mentioned this in our little group chat yesterday. Do you think this is a kind of a rib on Braun in a way where, again, this is just speculation. Let's say at the writer's room, they come back and they go, I can't write anything for the guy. He's such a dummy. And then one of the other writers goes, dude, just make him a dummy. And then that's it.
Very possible.
Get Shane in his weird glassy eyes. And then let's put him out there.
Shane with the concussed look, always. Bad Bunny's car got vandalized. His Bugatti, his $3.5 million Bugatti got vandalized by Miz and Morrison, where they took blood? I mean, they took red paint.
Was it supposed to be blood? It looked like the most washable paint on the planet, by the way.
All right. By the way, remember they were teasing there was going to be a singles match between Bad Bunny. We had said it was going to be a tag match from day one. It stayed a tag. And I was very confused because I was asking about this match. I'm like, is he really doing a singles match? And they're like, no, he's not doing a singles match. I'm like, yeah, but you guys are talking. No, he's not doing a singles match. So it's now back to a tag match. Fine, I'd take this. I'm okay with this.
He's putting the work in, dude.
This is one of the least hated things of the show for me.
Yeah,
is Bad Bunny. And I know everybody's hating on this guy, and they find him ridiculous. He cut like a 15-minute promo last night that they edited up. I got to tell you, he's trying really hard. You could tell that he loves wrestling. And I always appreciate that when you have a celebrity come in, and he's there every freaking week. He's committed to it. So what happened to the lady from The Bachelor that was on? Remember her?
Oh, yeah, she disappeared.
And what's his name was like...
Well, it was Hanson, right?
It was Hanson, but it was what's his name also?
I don't remember.
Who was it? Who was giving him the flowers?
Was it Braun Strowman?
Who was that? Who was being the Lothario? Who was being the Lothario?
Oh, I don't remember.
I'm not talking. It was Garza. I'm not talking about Jose. I'm talking about Garza. Right. Yeah, he was a Lothario, right? That was his gimmick. Yeah. He was handing her the flower and doing the whole thing. That went away.
He was a ladies' man. Yeah, they changed a lot of stuff in the last few months.
So, God, I not a fan of it.
We're gonna have to watch this shit on the weekend, dude.
Oh, shit, I know.
You forgot about that.
No, but WrestleMania I'm gonna enjoy. I always enjoy it. But Rhea Ripley beats up Asuka. Rhea Ripley beats up Asuka, costing them the match against Nia and Shayna Baszler. So now this is a WrestleMania match. Rhea Ripley and Asuka. Rhea Ripley's gonna have her song, "This Is My Brutality," live sung on the show. You know what was my brutality? This freaking show. That was my brutality.
You felt it after a long day of work.
Brutality.
You came home and you had your pint glass of bourbon and your pint glass of white wine.
I was drinking white wine and bourbon last night. That's literally what I drank. I'm not even kidding.
Making them nasty spritzers.
Yeah.
And you come home and you watch this and you were like, oh, we got 7 shows to do this week.
Oh man, no, I enjoyed doing the show. It was just yuck. Yeah. Let's see what else. What else do we have here, Rich? On this amazing show.
Riddle beat Mustafa Ali. Mustafa Ali, I think, as of now, is not on WrestleMania, which is bonkers. He was supposed to be like the new rebel guy, right? And I don't think they know what to do with this poor dude, man.
With Riddle?
No, with Riddle. Well, Riddle, you know what they want to do with Riddle. With Mustafa.
Oh, Mustafa. Well, we'll start off with Riddle, right? This guy was the next Kerry Von Erich, right?
Sure.
The next Kurt Angle as far as athleticism and catching it and getting it, and just Vince took one look at him and is like, nope, you're a comedy act. I don't know, man. Sometimes there's no turning back. And this is what happened in the 80s. A lot of people are like, oh, Vince doesn't know how to book. What did Vince do to everybody in the 80s? Think about it, right? And we didn't mind it. We didn't mind it. They took Ted DiBiase, a really good wrestler, and they made him the $1 Million Man. They took Kerry Von Erich, and they turned him into a Texas Tornado. They took Kurt Hennig.
Rib on him, though.
Yeah, it was. They took Kurt Hennig, the AWA World Heavyweight Champion, and they turned him into but they gimmicked him. You know what I mean? They added something ridiculous. Again, another one. Terry Taylor.
Yeah.
They turned him into the Red Rooster. Terry Taylor was
Red
Flair.
Rooster.
His gimmick was Ric Flair, and they turned him into the Red Rooster. So they've been doing this forever. It's just it doesn't work anymore the way they're doing it. Matt Riddle is a MMA machine.
Yeah.
Now you've given him the stoner gimmick.
Yeah, and it's not even, like, can we make the RVD comparison?
Yeah, do it.
Because like when they did it with the RVD, it was very tongue in cheek.
220, bro.
Yeah, where like he would say something and he'd walk into a scene and be like, "Did somebody say high flyer?" And then he'd put his lips out. With Riddle, it's a little different because I think the problem is that it's so on the nose. It's like, all right, we get it. I think Treehouse Vince asked us on our Twitter, or he asked the Twitterverse yesterday, is he dumb? Like is this dumb? It for Riddle? Is this it for Riddle? Like, is he done? I don't know. It's interesting where they threw this dude, because you would think, much like they had remember who's the funky dinosaur?
Brodus Clay, right?
Yeah, like Brodus Clay, when they told us they were going to repackage him and everybody thought he was going to come out as this monster heel, he came out as this funky dancing dinosaur, which didn't last too long.
The Funkasaurus.
I think Riddle is in that weird category. Listen, the dude's on TV and he's getting paid, so I'm sure he doesn't give a shit. But I think it's bizarre where you have somebody so talented and it's weed jokes,
That's all it is. That's all they see him. That's it. Kids will love it. It's legal in New York, which it is legal in New York now. Weed is now legal in New York.
We're going to start smoking J's in your studio now?
That's it. We're just making it. Dude, let's just turn it into like a rap studio from the 90s. Dim the lights. We'll just start smoking joints. Have some beats going on in the back, and that's it. We'll have some babes hanging around, and that's my new life.
Sounds great.
I'm a 40-year-old rap producer.
I don't know why you're saying that like it's a bad thing. It's
not a bad thing. I look forward to it. The main event, the way to sell WrestleMania is by obviously having a Baron Corbin match, a 15-minute Baron Corbin match with Drew. Dude, this is the final moment. This is the moment. You know what? Maybe it is generational. Okay, now we're gonna sound like the old men. I'm used to like a holy shit, I gotta watch WrestleMania moment at the end of Raw.
Okay.
Austin getting tied up in the ropes with Shawn Michaels holding the belt in his face and screaming, "You'll never have this," or whatever happening. Triple H doing a beat, Evolution popping up somewhere, and just decade after decade. That's the go home show.
Yeah,
total chaos is the go home show, and instead we got a very nice 15-minute match between Drew McIntyre and Baron Corbin to sell WrestleMania.
Great.
All right. Whatever.
I'm so turned.
Dude, I was so turned off last. I was so disappointed more than anything else.
Because you wanted to come home from work, make your bourbon and white wine spritzer.
Yes.
And watch an insane ending to Raw. I honestly checked out. I watched like the clips this morning, but I checked out after the Braun Strowman thing. I was like, I got to go to bed.
Yeah.
And it was like 9:00.
We have about 20 minutes here. You want to run down NXT Night 1? Yes. NXT Stand and Deliver Night 1, Wednesday night. We will be back on the F4W account doing a watch-along Wednesday and Thursday, so you could join us for that. That'll be a lot of fun. Night 1. Rich, what do we have?
We have a gauntlet eliminator for the NXT North American Championship. Every 3 minutes, someone enters, pinfall and submissions get the win. This is the order of entry. Leon Ruff, Swerve Scott, Bronson Reed, Cameron Grimes, Dexter Lumis, and LA Knight. I think this is going to be fun. This is going to showcase all these guys who NXT has been building up over the last few months.
Yeah.
I'm going to go... I want to say Cameron Grimes or Dexter Lumis. I'm going to go Bronson Reed.
I'm going to go LA Knight.
Okay.
I'm going to go... By the way, I just want to say this. Last week's ratings for AEW were terrible. Really bad. They've been
Weird, huh?
they've been on a very steady decline since that pay-per-view, and I think the pay-per-view's finish
Mhm.
might have played a big part. And we'll talk about AEW's booking because I have a major problem with the way that they're doing their TV right now the last 2 weeks. Not a fan of it.
Yeah.
But I do want to say, so this is going to be on USA, right?
Yes.
It's also going to be on Peacock, uninterrupted with no commercials.
right.
So I'm very curious what this does to the rating, because in any other scenario, you would imagine NXT is going to destroy AEW. I mean, really, and AEW really doesn't have a strong answer for this, and nor should they, because this is why you're going to shoot your load when your opposition is running a pay-per-view.
Exactly.
You know, you don't want to do that. So they know they're not going to have the viewership. They're not going to go and hotshot something really crazy. Whatever. It's the last week of this war. Just you do your thing and let them do their thing and do well. Fine. I'm very curious how this is going to play out, because, you know what the freaking stupid narrative is going to be online if their ratings are bad.
Yeah.
They couldn't beat
sure.
AEW with a pay-per-view. No, it's not the same thing. We got to not look at it this way. This is also going to be on Peacock uninterrupted. So I wanted to say that before we go on with this. I think LA Knight will take this. I'm curious to see how well these guys do. Obviously, this is that next generation of NXT talent.
Mm-hmm. Strong.
And it is strong. I think Bronson Reed's really good. Cameron Grimes, great gimmick. Dexter Lumis, they're really high on. LA Knight, we're going to see what he does. Obviously, Johnny Gargano, like you said, Leon Ruff, and Isaiah Swerve Scott. Who was your main pick?
Bronson Reed.
Bronson Reed. All right. And I'll go with LA Knight. We'll see what happens.
Okay.
The next match, dude, I know you're really into.
Walter versus Tommaso Ciampa.
Yeah, I'm into it, dude. I'm
Yeah.
really into it.
Big choppy match, right?
Big choppy match. Big
Oh
choppy.
my God.
They're going to kill each other in this, and I'm really looking forward to this. I think this is what an NXT pay-per-view has been lacking, is something like this. And obviously Walter, he's had the title for like 2 years now. He lost all of last year as far as momentum goes, but I think now is the time to kind of display him on NXT TV. Very excited for this.
Same here, dude.
Very excited for this. I think Walter keeps it.
Yeah, absolutely. Then you have the NXT Tag Team Championship match for the vacant titles: MSK versus Grizzled Young Vets versus Legado del Fantasma. I think MSK is going to take it.
I have no interest in MSK or Grizzled Young Vets.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. NXT Women's Championship match is the main event on night one. Io Shirai versus Raquel Gonzalez with Dakota Kai. Io Shirai retains.
Let's see. All right. I could go with that.
Cool. You want to jump quickly into night two?
Let's do night two quickly.
Night two, NXT Women's Tag Team Championship match, Ember Moon and Shotzi versus Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. I'm going to say they retain.
Shotzi versus Candice. I say they're going to lose.
Okay.
Yeah, I say they're going to lose, and you're going to start a problem with them.
Okay. NXT North American Championship, Johnny Gargano versus whoever won the gauntlet. That should be fun. If it is LA Knight, Johnny Gargano can have a good match with anybody from that gauntlet. Right?
Yeah. Let me look back. Hold on. Let me see who's in here that he cannot have a good match with. I mean, Leon Ruff, he could have a good match. Yeah, you're right. Everybody. You know what? Maybe LA Knight. That's the only one that I'm a little. I don't know how they'll do together.
Like the meshing of styles.
Yeah.
And also everybody who wins that gauntlet match has a story to tell. It doesn't necessarily, like, Dexter Lumis would be great. LA Knight would be great. Bronson Reed would be great. Leon Ruff would be great because he had that fluke win. So I think we should keep an eye on that one. That's going to be very interesting. NXT Cruiserweight Unification ladder match, Jordan Devlin versus Santos Escobar. I feel like this is going to be the sleeper, and I think Santos is going to win.
I'm very into this match. I don't know why. When the whole split happened, and by the way, you know what? Sometimes they fall into a really good thing from terrible stuff. The only reason why this match is happening is because of the pandemic, right? Because Jordan Devlin couldn't come to the States and defend the title. I think Devlin is very underrated in this company. He's very talented. Very, very talented. Has a gigantic head. I just want to put that out there. His head is huge. Huge, giant head. I think he'll take it. I think he's going to have both titles up on the, sitting on the ladder, holding both titles up and unifying them. That's how I see it.
Oh, thanks for saying that. That made me laugh because I was thinking the exact same thing.
Okay, thank you.
Finn Balhead.
Finn Balhead. He has a Finn Balhead. Unsanctioned match between Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly. I feel like somebody, you know what I feel like it is? Somebody has a pump. It's like that car, he's pumping and his head is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Oh, yeah, except
that's how he climbs the ladder, dude. That's how he's going to climb the ladder. Someone's going to take...
like a hot air balloon?
Yeah, he just flies up and just grabs it and just floats away.
It's so mean.
Yeah. Goes back to Europe.
Oh, boy. Unsanctioned match, Adam Cole versus Kyle O'Reilly. This night 2 looks chef's kiss right there.
Yeah, night 2 looks great.
I'm going Kyle O'Reilly for the win on this.
Either or, I'm fine with. It's they're gonna have a really good match. The only thing, it's unsanctioned. So is it a street fight?
False count. It could be false count anywhere. It could be in the hallway.
You know how I feel about street fights, right?
Yeah, you're not a fan.
Not a fan of it. You know why? I think you do know why. I hate the jeans.
I know. It's very interesting.
Hate the jeans. Coming from a jean guy.
Is that what stopped you from getting into the street fight yesterday? Is you were jeans and you were like, can't do it.
Can't do it, man. No, I mean, like, they just dress up like me.
Mm-hmm.
They're wearing their J's, they got their skinny jeans on, and they got a t-shirt and they got their wrist taped up. All right, now we're fighting. I think these guys are gonna have a great match. They're gonna have a phenomenal
absolutely. Match. And your main event for night 2, Finn Balor versus Karrion Kross with Scarlett. Spooky main event. This is going to be interesting. I don't know about you, but I can't see a clear winner in this match. How about you?
I can't either. No, I can't either. I feel like the winner has to be Karrion Kross.
Mm-hmm.
But if Karrion Kross wins, now you've also set up a match with the Demon Finn Balor, right?
Yeah.
Now you could have like a spooky, fog match or whatever the hell they'll do. You know what they'll do? I figured it out. Very misty, very foggy, black and white the entire match.
That'd be fun.
That's how I would do it. And when they're getting ready to do their special, the color appears in them.
That's pretty cool.
That's how I would do it. That's my cinematic match.
I'd be into that.
I'm going to go with Karrion Kross.
Okay. We'll see, man. This is a couple of nights away. This is Thursday night, right?
That's Thursday night, yeah.
I'm more excited to watch the NXT stuff than the Mania stuff at this point.
So we got 10 minutes, guys. Submit your questions in the chat room. We're going to do our very best to get to all of them. MG Geek takes them, puts them in the notes, and we answer them while we're here. AEW Dynamite preview for tomorrow. AEW TNT Championship match. Darby Allin and JD Drake. 6-man tag match. Jon Moxley and the Young Bucks, Nick and Matt, versus Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers, Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows. Jurassic Express. Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus versus Bear Country. Bear Bronson, a man that I've called his match. I met him about 6 years ago. Really good guy. I really, very nice guy. And Bear Boulder. The Bunny versus Tay Conti. And that's it. That's what we have announced for this. So let me just, I want to talk about this because we did not get a chance to talk about AEW last week.
Right.
I am seeing a big problem with their product.
Okay.
The first show of many shows, I would say that last week's show was my least liked show. And I'll explain why. There was too much happening. Too many people. How many 6-man tags do you need? How many 3-on-3s do you need? How many 12-man tags do you need? I believe Dave said they had close to 60 people on TV, on-air talent, on TV on last week's show. The reason for that is that they have 2 other shows, right? They got AEW Dark and they got
Elevation.
Dark Elevation. They got Elevation. They need to profile these guys on their main show, their popular show, to bring them over to the secondary shows.
Mm-hmm.
I get why they're doing it. I know that it's a mad rush to profile a lot of the younger guys, but the reality is, it's kind of disconnecting me. There's too many people now. I don't know if you feel that way.
I don't mind it, to be honest. I kind of like the chaos of it. I think it's purposeful. I also feel like it's a good way to get everybody on primetime TV because they have My worry, and it's a stupid worry. This is a good way to get everybody on primetime television in that 2-hour slot, right? But at what point do you say, all right, we got to stop signing guys and concentrate on who we have, because there's a huge roster.
Big roster. Yeah.
They're also doing like kind of like an interesting version of NXT with like Dark and Elevation where, like you get your up and comers and then on Elevation specifically, you're getting like what they used to do on Heat, which is get one main eventer to fight with somebody. So like last week was Mox. I think this week was Matt Hardy. I may have that confused. Like Kenny Omega showed up on Elevation.
Yeah. You know what the plan is, right? With that, it's eventually sell it into syndicate, sell it to other markets. So you're going to take that show and put it in international markets and take the AEW Dark and put that into international markets. So you need the talent. The reason why they're building up so much talent is because they are preparing to expand internationally with secondary and third and fourth shows, much like how WWE does it and how they've always done it. And, almost every wrestling successful national brand has done. Impact, tremendous success overseas with their secondary shows. WCW had like 15 different shows that they were syndicating. So this is a common thing that you see. There's nothing wrong with this. I think the big problem here has been they didn't establish the show first and then get the talent. They got the talent, packed it, and now they're like, okay, we need to put these guys, we need to put them on TV and get them over to some extent or make them recognizable and then move them over to the secondary and third products. I get that. I just feel that it was too much happening, and for AEW, they really are in not a dangerous position, but they need to really do a good job at telling you, listen, these guys here, these are the best of the best. These guys are top notch. They're better than anybody else in the world, and this is what we do. Not we're a development company.
I'll agree to disagree with you because I think they do a good job of destroying the stigma that comes along with professional wrestling in the regard of like, let's say when you watch Raw and SmackDown, you know who's going to be in the main event every week, right?
Yeah.
AEW, you don't know who's going to be in the main event every week. Like one week it might be Eddie Kingston. Last week it was Trent's return with the Best Friends. So like I find that very endearing, and I think that's a good way of booking. They are spinning a lot of plates at the same time.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you're saying, where it's like, it's a lot, 3 shows a week for the most part, a lot of talent. You get that 2-hour primetime spot and that's it. Maybe this is the new way of booking.
I guess we'll see what happens. I'm very curious to see what happens because there's going to be a lot of eyes on them the next couple of weeks going unopposed. GCW, the collective schedule. We'll run through that really quickly. Actually, you know what? I'm going to skip this and I'm going to say that for Thursday since we're running out of time here.
Yeah, let's skip it.
Matmen schedule.
Q&A. Okay.
Yeah, let's do Q&As. Let me just pay some bills here with the schedule here. So we have a ton of stuff happening today. Obviously, we're recording this show Tuesday. It'll be posted this afternoon on all our podcast distribution platforms and of course on F4W. Tonight, this afternoon, Matt Boys watch along WrestleMania 17 at 3:30. Wednesday, watch along NXT Night 1 at 7:30 start time. Thursday, we got Matmen review show, AEW and NXT. Watch along NXT Night 2 at 7:30. Friday, WrestleMania preview at 11 a.m. Saturday, WrestleMania Night 1 watch along starting at 6:30. Post show 10 minutes after. We will be live with our post show of Night 1. Night 2, Mania Night 2, watch along 6:30 on Sunday, and of course 10 minutes after the show, be ready for a a review of the show. Rich, you ready for questions?
I am ready for questions. Shall I start?
Wait, no. Before you do, plug BTC.
Oh, that's right. This week, I'm interviewing Daniel Warren Johnson. We're going to talk about New Japan, AEW, and his new stuff at Marvel. Dude's a huge up-and-coming artist from Marvel and DC. It's going to be a cool talk. We're going to throw that onto the Matmen stuff and on my BTC stuff. And I think that's it as far as my stuff goes for the WrestleMania week.
Very cool. All right, Q&A time, boys and girls.
All right. Josh, America's favorite frat boy, asks, any new people debuting this week?
Maybe Monday.
I think we're going to get, instead of debuts, I think we're going to get roster shifts.
Maybe some Rosh. Something's happening Monday, Friday. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. From Corey, can you do cinematic matches with fans in attendance? I wonder what the live reaction at Daly's place as the fans just sat and watched the monitor for Sting versus Darby.
I think that's interesting. I don't think it's going to work as well when you have, 15, 20,000 people in a building, 10,000 people in a building. But when you have a couple hundred people there, close to 1,000 people, it's less of a complaint if you keep it short enough. I don't know. That's a great question, Corey, because I don't know how that's going to play out once, attendance is back.
That is a good question. Okay. John Gorman, do you think AEW has too many factions and too many wrestlers on their roster?
I think too many wrestlers on their main Dynamite roster. Yes. I like factions. Yeah. I've always liked factions. I'm not against it. I do feel like they get a little redundant with their faction booking. Because if you notice, they're doing the same exact parallel booking between the Jericho's crew and MJF and with the Nightmare family.
Yeah, I think, factions honestly do make sense, especially when you have such a big roster. And we would talk about this on the show where it's like these guys have no friends. Like in WWE, nobody has any friends, right? Unless you were the Wyatt family or the New Day or the Shield, right? Yeah. Nobody else has friends. I think this is it. I think it makes more sense. Like if Cody's getting a beatdown, Arn Anderson and Dustin come running to the ring, right?
Yeah.
Or if the Bucks are getting beat down, at one point it was Kenny rushing to the ring, like Matt Hardy and like his guys and the Dark Order and all that stuff. So in that regard, I think it's fun and that's cool because if you're working and your buddies are at work, you'd hang out with them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shin asks, does Corbin main event next year's WrestleMania? We have 3 minutes, by the way, guys.
Shin, no.
I hope Shin comes and hangs out with us during all the watch.
I think he will.
Dan Knightley asks, does the loser of Cross and Balor go to the main roster?
I don't know. That's a good question. I know that Balor was supposed to come up for SummerSlam. He was done after SummerSlam last year, but that was the original concept. I don't know when it shifted, but I think that there is plans to bring Balor to the main roster, especially after WrestleMania, to kind of put him in a main event picture somewhere. So if I would imagine it's Finn Balor over Cross.
Okay. I wanna put this out there. Edge wins. Next challenger, Finn Balor.
Okay. That's cool. I'm into that.
Yeah, right? Wouldn't that be cool? Like he comes out and he's like cuts a promo on him. Edge is like, oh, the demon, and they go at it. Brandon asks, what Mania attendance number would disappoint?
I don't think anything's going to disappoint. I know that they will have 20-something thousand people in that building. So I don't think there's a number that would disappoint in this, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens when they do have a live audience. There was disappointment in WWE side. They were convinced that we're going to sell out these tickets immediately. And we saw it happen in Jacksonville with UFC. UFC sold out those tickets in less than a day. And same thing for the Texas show they're going to be running. They sold that out full capacity in like a couple hours. So I think they were a little bit caught off guard that the demand for the tickets weren't there, because they always said from day one that they would open up more tickets if there was a demand for it. But the reality is they didn't release these tickets until a couple of weeks ago. That's not enough time for people to coordinate travel and lodging and, talking to their friends long enough to decide that they want to go to WrestleMania. This was very last minute. They were trying to do more people in the building. They decided not to go with that. They stuck to the regular number. I'm also hearing reports that they didn't release all 20,000. A lot of them, close to half of them, were saved for, I guess, for network giveaways and corporate partners and stuff like that. So will there be 20-something thousand people in the building? Absolutely. I don't know if there's a disappointing number here because they've pulled back on the ticket sales.
Okay. We got time for a couple more?
We got 2 minutes.
2 minutes. All right. We want to do one more?
Yeah, let's do it.
How did Y2J pull off being on the Stone Cold podcast?
He asked. Stephen M. spoke, and he went to Vince. Steve went to Vince, and he was like, yeah, do it. And Jericho went to Tony, and he said, yeah, do it. first of all, not a bad move by anybody here, right? Think about this. Chris Jericho, top star in AEW, is going on Peacock the night after WrestleMania. So, you know, the day, like the night of WrestleMania. So he's going to have a tremendous audience for whatever he's going to talk about. Now, whether or not they censor AEW, which I highly doubt they will, I'm sure he's going to mention AEW to some extent. And you heard Jericho talk about why he left. He's already working an angle here for a possible future in WWE, talking about he left after WrestleMania after that Kevin Owens match.
Good Lord.
That was the moment he knew he was done.
Yeah.
So, very interesting stuff. We have a ton of stuff to talk about this week. We'll be back tomorrow night with our watch along, Thursday morning, Thursday night, Friday morning, Saturday night, Sunday night. We got like 85,000 shows here. So this was just a quick preview of everything to expect this week. We're going to be back tomorrow night on the F4W page. We're going to be streaming live there almost every night. Almost every night, the next couple nights. So join us for that. Remember, you can follow us on Twitter, BTC Rich on Twitter, Andrew Zarian on Twitter, Matmen Podcast on Twitter. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Matmen Podcast. Also, we have a Patreon. Boys and girls, if you want to support the show, you want to fund the show, you could do so by going to our Patreon, patreon.com/Matmen Podcast, prowrestlingtees.com/Matmen Podcast, and our TikTok, tiktok.com/Pro Wrestling News. Is it Pro Wrestling News? No, Matmen Pro Wrestling. There you go.
Oh my God.
Matmen Pro Wrestling. I don't even know anymore. Because I just read Pro Wrestling News on my screen.
It's Papa Johnzo. That's Papa Johnzo.
Papa Johnzo. All right, guys. We'll see y'all next time. Take care.